What's up, guys? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another YouTube video. This is lecture 9 or exercise 9 in our Python exercise tutorial series. Let's get to it. Okay, we have exercise 9. Pretend that you have just opened a new savings account that earns 4% interest per year. The interest that you earn is paid at the end of the year and is added to the balance of the savings account. Write a program that will begin by reading in the amount of money deposited into the account from the user. Then, your program should compute and display the amount in the savings account after 1, 2, and 3 years. Display each amount so that it is rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay, so guys, looking at this question at face value, it's a simple scenario of compound interest. This is compound interest. A formula is also given. Not really, but I can give us that to make life easier. So the general formula for a compound interest basically goes something like this. There's several variations, and the particular one that we are looking at is P. So we'll just call this compound interest is equals to P into, and this will be 1 plus our I. Okay, 1 plus I over 100. Okay, that's good. So basically what this means is compound interest is equals to the principal amount into 1 plus I represents the interest rate, so 4 over 100. That's what it would be. So let's get to it. Essentially what they're asking from us is, you see, we decide to open a savings account, right? And our savings account is going to give us interest, compound interest annually, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, annually. And it's going to do this with an interest rate of 4%, or that computes to 0.04. Okay, and the general aim here is to have a prompt that actually takes in the deposit amount from the user, and in the back end, behind the scenes, we are required to compute the amount of money that's going to be totaled, as a result of that interest being added to that sum of money that was deposited. We need to calculate the money that we have at the end of each year after that interest has been added. And what else we need to do is also, this is important, display each amount so that it's rounded to 2 decimal places. So let's proceed to set up this program. First things first, we need an input prompt. Pretend in there, interest is paid, amount of money. Yeah, that's fine. So let's call this savings deposit is equals to, and we'll do a float input. So we are doing float because, what if the user decides to invest 1 rand and 50 cents, or 1,000 rand and point decimal value? So just to be sure, input, and we'll request please enter the amount, the let's say please enter the savings amount. That's our prompt. Moving on, what we can do as well is have our interest rate set up as a constant for us to make life a bit easier during the calculation portions. Okay, that's good. That's brilliant. Now, calculation time. So what do we need to do? We need to use this formula, okay? And we need to calculate the amount of money that's going to be in that account after 1, 2, and 3 years. So let's compute it. Let's start with the first step, which is year 1. We're going to do, let's call this first year end is equals to. This is the important bit. So in the first year, that's the first year of the account being opened. So our principal amount, we need to substitute the correct values in this formula. This is important. So let's think. Guys, we opened an account at the beginning of this year and we put X amount of savings. And that X amount of saving was the first amount that actually kick-started that account. And in our program, it's going to be given by the user in this variable object. Now, first year is equals to, it's going to be savings deposit into 1 plus, and we have our constant interest rate. That's good. That's excellent. That's year 1. Now let's proceed to the second year. Let's call it second year end is equals to, this is where the important attention, this is where we need to pay attention to our calculation, because in the second year we are not starting that year off with just the savings deposit value. Instead, we are starting that year off with the value accumulated at the end of the first year. So essentially this now becomes our principal amount. That value that we have at the end of the first year as a result of first year interest being added to our deposit, that year-end value at the first year becomes our principal or starting amount for the second year of interest. So let's do a first year end into, we're going to do a 1 plus interest rate. Okay, so you'll notice the interest rate does not change because they specified, a constant value of 0.04 or 4%. Let's proceed to the third year. They requested for the first, second, and third years. So let's do third year end is equals to, same principle applies here, guys. Our starting amount at the beginning of the third year will not be the initial deposit, nor will it be the money we had at the end of the first year. It's going to be the money we had at the end of the second year. That's going to be the starting amount in which we enter the third year. So that becomes the principal amount. Second year end into 1 plus, and interest rate remains the same. That's brilliant. That's excellent. Now we may actually proceed to print a small display message to the user. What's important in this particular portion of the program is the fact that we need to pay attention to formatting. Display each amount so that it is rounded to 2 decimal places. Let's proceed to do that. We can do a your total balance at the end of the first year will be, and as we've been doing in the previous tutorials or lectures or the exercises, we have worked with formatting to 2 decimal places before. So just for fun, I'll format in maybe rand. You can do it in dollars or anything you like. We do a percentage dot 2f, and then we need to provide values for the placeholder. As you know, this is called a float placeholder, which means Python expects us now, since we've reserved a place inside the string using a placeholder, Python thereafter expects us to provide formatting for a value that's going to be passed to that placeholder. In our case, we saying our total balance at the end of the first year will be x. So for x, we need to fill in first year end variable. Let's do that. Don't forget to pass in your percentage sign to denote formatting, and in a tuple or parenthesis, you may proceed to pass in first year end. Let's make this bigger. There we go. Okay. Let us copy and paste the same statement twice, and we may just proceed to change it accordingly. Your total balance at the end, this should be second year, will be r percentage 2f. That remains as is, and we may just change this to second year end and proceed to do the same for the third statement. Third year and third year end. Excellent. Now, the only way we'll know if we have successfully completed this exercise is if we run our program in order to test it. So let's do that. Let's do a control enter. Okay, enter the savings amount. I'll go with a 1000, and I am assuming rands here. As you know, we also specified value here. So we actually forgot to include it in the prompt, but that's fine. Please enter the savings amount, 1000. Enter. Float object is not callable. Okay, what's the issue here? Oh, I see, I see. See, I actually interpreted the formula. I basically assumed that like we are working with the formula. That's incorrect. Yeah, I actually forgot the multiplication sign. So that's fine. Just add that there. And if we run this, we should have our program working. Brilliant. That's excellent. It works. So my apologies for that. Following this formula, I actually forgot to put the appropriate multiplication operator there, and that's fine. We've effectively and successfully completed exercise 9 of our Python exercise tutorial series. And in this particular program, guys, we worked with a simple compound interest program, effectively calculating the year-end balance that's going to be present in that savings account at the end of the first year, second year, and third year, assuming we have a 0.04 interest rate added yearly to the deposit. So that's brilliant. I thank you for your time, guys, and I thank you for watching, or just using my channel to assist you with your Python exercises. And with that, take care, good luck with your work, and I'll see you in the next video.